Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. Thursday, 27th of November, and I'm welcoming bright and early in the morning, all the way from Tel Aviv in Israel, Udi Shamai. Welcome to the show, Udi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking me.
No, thank you, and thank you for getting up so bright and early. Like you said, it was 7:15 a.m. in the morning. It's in the afternoon here, but it's great that I can we can have a conversation. And thank you for starting your morning and having a chat with me. Pretty excited to talk to you, Udi, and all that you have invented, that you are still inventing and creating. You know, that I've spoken to quite a few people now from Israel, and innovation and tech is a hub. It's certainly a big hub over there, and you've got some great experiences and great stories. So let's introduce you. You're the co-founder and CEO of Hyperfood Robotics. And it's a company building fully automated, self-contained robotic fast food restaurants. And you first launched it in the pizza sector, but you've since been expanding it to other formats. You also had previously founded Dragontail Systems, which was an AI kitchen and delivery optimization. And it was actually, you took it public and it was actually acquired by an Australian brand, Yummy Brands, in 2021. So congratulations to that. You've also served in many senior roles across QSR, including you were owner, president of Pizza Hut in Israel, and then previous that, leadership in Domino's Pizza Israel. So 30 plus years in fast food operations. You focus on the automation that improves safety, consistency, and unit economics. And I know you said you've just recently been here in Australia for a big conference. Tell us a bit about your journey and tell us your story.
Okay, thank you very much. My journey started, I didn't start with food actually. I started from a completely different direction. I worked in Israel Corporation, which is one of the biggest corporation in Israel, in economics division. But we were working with who invested in Domino's Pizza in Israel at that time, and as we invested and I was in charge of it, we started. I started, I was introduced to the business, and I really liked it. The interesting stuff around it was not just the food, but more the fact that because most of the I was lucky to be in I'd say in a area where and there's not a lot of tech. So back in 1997, there was not a lot of tech in food, meaning we would everything you look at, from the ovens to uh, back of the house, kitchen, front of the house, marketing, everything completely was there was no technology around it. So I came in and asking the right questions and start developing, decision support. I started with decision support system, POS, moved into some uh, other software, but and ended up with the for the Dragon Tail, which was a word protocol, became a word protocol in delivery. The smartness around this, I'd say the technology was smart because it was the first time. So most of the people that you would talk to, they talk about the last mile, meaning from the store to the consumer. So
Yeah.
what kind of route, who would take the delivery, and what's the route? Like that was previously. We came saying we need to run the kitchen together with the delivery force, meaning that answers for question who takes what to where, when and so around the fact, like, you run the kitchen, this delivery guy is going to get to the store at that time. So you prepare the specific pizza or the hamburger or whatever it is. And when he comes in, it's just in time for him to take it and 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 deliver it. So the food doesn't wait, because right now or before, the food would wait. Nobody
Go
knew
cold?
when the delivery. Yeah, like you had a pizza, but you didn't know when it's gonna be shipped out, because
Yeah,
the delivery guy, you didn't know what the delivery guy is, when is it coming,
yeah.
and then they prepare everything like it was a FIFO, first in, first out. Everything was prepared, going to the oven, going out. So that was the idea. So we did this, and as you described it very well, we took it public and all that, all that. So after all that, I thought, what would be the next step, and what is the biggest mission in this industry at all? And I participated before this thing, was it's now all over. But when we started 6 years ago, we were alone. So we were thinking, let's automate the whole thing, like everything.
End to end.
Okay, no, yeah, end to end, no humans at all. And so we started with thinking we assemble something. We thought some parts are valuable, but we ended up building the whole thing, designing it ourselves. So what you see in the videos and what you see when you get to the store is 100%. Only the ovens. The ovens are brand standard, because you need to use the brand standard oven. But all the rest, everything is the automation, the arms, the grappers, everything is designed by us. And we have now a store in Dallas. Up and working. It got the NSF, which is very, very difficult to get. We're working with, we achieved all KPIs that we needed. It's doing around 90 pizzas an hour now.
Wow.
A few kinds of dough, It's doing a few kind of dressings, toppings, proofing, retarding, cutting, boxing, and everything. And you got with your phone, and you can collect the pizza your own, your order from a box, which is a mediated box, and closes for 40 minutes.
Wow, I have so many
Um,
questions about this. It's wild. I actually find this fascinating. And I'm going to start with not even a question, but when you booked in for the podcast and I asked you what's one unique insight or lived experience when it comes to life leadership and your business, and you said, and it relates to what you've just been talking about, but you said at first it looked real cool that we are taking people out and moving robots in, which is essentially what you've done. Now that everyone is doing that, I asked myself, what are people going to do? So that is my first question to you, because as you're talking through all of this, and when I read this, I was like, so you've taken humans out of it, and but so what do you see as the role of humans then when it comes to the future, like of business and leadership, knowing that you're fully automating it with robotics?
yeah, I think this is the biggest question. Your question is the biggest question that is asked now in general everywhere. I mean, everybody that is working with AI and robotics understand that this is the biggest question now of all, because what happened is that you got two titans here. On one side, it's the AI, okay, the artificial intelligence that is coming in and taking taking a lot of not just the jobs, but it's doing so much and very, very fast. I don't think anybody expected to be that fast, and it's going everywhere into everything. So on one side, it's the AI. On the other side, it's the robotic. Now, the robotics is all the physical work. Okay, so if you thought in I don't know 2 years ago that you're talking AI, now these robotics are coming in. It's humanoid robotics. These humanoids can do anything. So anything they will do almost anything. So you have the AI and the robotics, and this joint forces of these two is eliminating and shuffling people out of everything. Okay, completely everything. And I'm thinking, but and you've been looking at it and saying, okay, so what will people do? And even if it's still some people, which some people think they say, well, there's new jobs around it. There'll be, people would find something else to do. I don't think it's this is the answer to this. People will be unemployed because there won't be it's running too fast for people to be able to work and find something else to do. It's creating itself. It's the agents in the chain creating much faster. Uh, um, Taking the in gaming, for instance, the agents in gaming, so far they're shuffling out all the programmers out, everybody out. There's no programmers. There's not going to be any programmers, and it's doing much better job. On the side of the robots, you could see the robots coming in. So they start with the home robots. So I think Tesla and Google, everybody's going to the humanoid home robot because this is the biggest market. Everybody would own a robot that would do, now it's doing 60 missions, this Tesla one, but they're doing everything at the end. So, and together with the AI, the other point I wanted to tell you, which is, sometimes I talk to people and they tell that's like it's like chess, you need to think all the way to the end. So that's why I'm saying you're right about your question that what will people do? So this is the final question. People would eventually it would take all their jobs. So what would they do is a huge question. The other thing is that you have to understand that the robotics. So people tend to think that robots are different from one. I'm talking about in a cognitive way, like it's like the thinking around the robot would be different from one robot to the other, but
I'm gonna sneeze.
it's not because
Excuse me. Excuse me.
yeah,
Excuse me. It's
yeah,
it's spring in
bless you,
Melbourne, so I'm sneezing.
yeah,
Sorry about that.
yeah, bless you. Um, so all if you read a robot in Kathmandu and a robot here, they have the same knowledge because they're connected to the cloud, so they can run all the information. So you mean that if you our counter robot, the robot we're doing on counters now, like half humanoid that is, fetching coffee, fetching your fries and all that. This robot can tell you about the weather, can talk to you about physics, mathematics, everything, because this robot is connected to the cloud. It's Wi-Fi to the cloud and it can do anything you want. So people ask me, like they see this robot and they're saying, how can it do this? I said, listen, it's all robot can do this. Okay. Just to give you a broader picture of what we're talking about. Any robot that you see, your robot at home, the one that Tesla is going to sell you, he could teach you mathematics because he has fully understanding of mathematics. He's so so yeah,
Rudy.
I think
Oh, sorry. You keep going, and then I'm gonna challenge you on something and see what you think about it. But I don't even know if it's challenging. But you keep going, and then I've got a good question to ask you.
so yeah, just one more thing which is important, just closing this question of yours around the employment. So obviously there's going to be change in the world. I think we're going to a more social world. We're going back to something. The words are wrong because social and communist and all this is the old world. But we're going to a world where the governments are going to pour money on the people, like in Norway. you need to get you get money from the government. The government will get money by maybe taking 70, 80% tax from this big corporation that would hold, so to be the big corporation would rule the world.
Yeah.
That's the future. It's not, it's like there's going to be change in politics, there's going to be change in governments, there's going to be change in everything. That this money would go up and go back to the people because otherwise the people would have insufficient income to purchase goods. So they would need, how do you get this? They need to get money from the government or from any kind of organization that would take the money and get it back to the people. That's my last point around this around the what would
Robotic.
people do? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think, so I guess for me, intuition, right? Humans, we have this innate intuition within us. We have this innate sixth sense at times where we can, it's that gut feeling. It's like your gut tells you something. And I mean, I'm questioning, can a robotic honestly have, yes, they're up in the cloud and they get accessing all the data and everything else. But I question if there is still a role for humans and pe people in some form of capacity that potentially we haven't even explored yet when it comes to as part of this new world order that we're, moving slowly but surely into, and the ability to have that critical thinking, this resilience piece, or anti-fragile. I have a sense that that's still required, and I argue, not argue because we're not arguing here, but I challenge, if you like, that more of that. And when you said social, my head went to that kind of space and place in terms of, is this the opportunity then for people to flourish more, to get back to what we're meant to be here to do, to be able to come up with innovative ideas. I don't know, like I just wonder, like from an intuitive sense as well, like we still need that aspect because you talked about two titans. You talked about the AI and the robotics, but I still think there's another titan potentially that's just it's probably in the trickiest point at the moment, which is like, what do we do? What do I do? Or that this Titan as the people Titan, with all of this revolution happening as we speak. Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah,
Like that's kind of where
yeah,
my
yeah,
head
yeah.
goes.
No, I see where you're going, and I think it's very smart. And I agree with you that this is absolutely we're relying on the fact that humans have emotions and they're very smart. Like it's not enough. Even the robotic, if you talk about the physics around robotics, the abilities, humans are much smarter. Okay, there's no question around that. Now, but these we have to. I was I'm thinking about this, and I'm saying to myself, you're getting different sets of rules here, so it's very hard to predict um, around that
Yeah.
what the change would be, and what is it going to make to people. Just to give you an idea, it's what the iPhone, the smartphone, what did it do to people? I mean, could you say that it changed them? Could you say if you thinking that before the iPhone, before the smartphone, and after the smartphone,
Yeah,
can you say people change their behavior?
yeah, 100%. Everywhere you look now,
Exactly.
everywhere you look now, like we've lost our like ability to be present. We're like, you and I are present right now. We're not distracted by everything else. But the phone introduced this distraction, this
Exactly.
obsession with tech. Like, my
So
niece,
there you go.
yeah, my niece said to me the other week when we were at dinner, my 15-year-old, her phone was going flat, and I said, "Do you want to use my phone?" And she goes, "No, you don't understand, Annie B. All my whole life is on my phone." And I was like, "Wow." Like, it's true though. Like, if I lost my phone tomorrow, I would be like lost because everything's on it, Like, this is what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just think of it that the other day I left my phone at the office, and I went out to meet somebody which was 100 meters away from the office. It's like a coffee at the corner coffee. And yeah, I couldn't think of anything because I had my phone was not with me. How I'm going to pay, I have no cards, I have no this, and people are calling me, and there's so much information, and I wanted to show him something. Why am I saying this? Because I say the phone changes. Just think of what the robots are going to do now, and I'm saying, so we're using all tools I'd say, to analyze the new world, but we're not there yet. We don't have these tools yet, me and
No.
you. So we're thinking, like the old world. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that we'll wake up to a world, okay, which you have a lot of time, okay. People have a lot of time because they're not going to work. They'll find something else to do. They have a lot of they could do things that they always wanted to do. It's going to be a wonderful world in that sense, because if you have enough, if you have enough, I'd say money, or you have enough, you have sufficient to do whatever you want, then it's tremendous. You're not going to. So you look at the Z generation; they don't want to work. I talked to my daughter. She said, "Listen, I'm working only to live, not the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't live to work. So what I want to do here is," she says to me, is that, so I want to minimize my work, to just and get a lot of life, okay, and a lot of I want to travel.
Yeah, I love it.
She was in Australia for 1 year. She's traveling. She's this, and she loved the world. This is what people want. So. This is going that way. This is not, we're thinking, we should think, positive and think about the good things this is going to do. And it would take people don't, the reason I invented this fully autonomous store was because people don't want to work, not because they do want to work. We pay, we pay people 15, $18 an hour. They don't want to come to work. They're saying, listen. And when I say to people, why don't you want? We're paying you. He said, would you work there? Do you want to work in a burger place? I said, no. So why are you asking me to work in a burger? I said, you're younger. You should do. I said, yeah, just because you worked there when you were, a student doesn't mean I have to work. Things have changed and they don't want to work anymore. So now it's not like we're shuffling people out of their work and they're hanging on to working in the, standing in the counter in McDonald's saying, listen, they're taking my job. No, they don't want to work McDonald's. They hate the job, okay? And they want the people are struggling to get people to work for them. So we're like saying, okay, we're taking people desires, and we're transforming the business into something that people eventually would say you're getting a pretty good pizza, pretty good pizza, because it's consistency. It's like
Yeah.
everything is gone by the book. There's no not contaminated, because people, and it's working 24 hours. It can work anytime. You can call and you take a picture from there at any time you want, and it's not going for a smoke outside, and it doesn't get calls from people getting calls from from their friend, and they're pissed off, and the pizza's going all messed up because they're holding the pizza. No. So there's a change, but going back to this, I love your question around that. That the emotions, people being more emotional. They have the sense to the ability to sense things and understand. I think there's a human understanding around things that I'm not sure how far the robot will go. But what I see now, I walk on the beach with a guy who was a top psychologist. Okay, this guy is writing articles, all over. He's like a high-tech guy, but and he's half philosopher. And he says to me that he talks with his chat every morning. He's a psychologist, for crying
Yeah,
out loud.
I
This
know.
guy should be, and he says to me, psychologists are gone. I said, how can you say this? And he says, very simple, Udi. The chat that he sees uh, millions of cases, just like what I hear. I hear thousands. He heard millions of millions. So yes, he's not that sensitive, but maybe you want somebody to be more precise, somebody who analyzes better the situation, somebody who saw more of this. And a human, a human psychologist, he comes in, with what his wife told him and his kids, and it's, somebody, like he couldn't find parking. And you know how this, like, he's all, so he's
Yeah,
human. So he has reaction, and maybe, he's got no patience for this guy now. Then this morning he said, what am I doing here with this idiot? And this thing is, like moving. And so now you get a chat GPT.
yeah, it's
He has
fascinating.
time. He listens. He's so nice, He's always
Yeah,
positive with you. And he said, very nice question. Very good. How are you this morning? And it's amazing. It's amazing. So yes, it's not human, but it's 90% excellent. And then 10%, yeah. And then, so yeah, it's not humans, but
it's
I think
fascinating.
people,
Your view is
it's
fascinating.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Like you're talking about a whole economical revolution. Like we have been so hustle and, our era, like the younger generations look at us and go, why are you working so hard? Like you called out the work to live versus live to work, like that whole thing, what your daughter is doing, etc. I still come back to though leadership as well, like in terms of like a robot's going to lead, a robot's going to be ruling the world. Like, are we as humans going to become secondary to the robots? Like, I mean, that's a big question in itself, right? Because what you're talking about and what we're having a conversation on here is that, fundamentally we are going through a reshape and a revolution and for many, in terms of from a people perspective, it is getting back to what we should be doing, and that is embracing and living life to the full versus getting up, going to work, coming home, having dinner, going to bed, or doing more work, getting up again. Like we've got ourselves into such a trap in such a way, and then you look at burnout and exhaustion and fatigue and lack of purpose in life. And what you're talking about here is this will open up the possibilities around what life looks like again in terms of in a way that we get to, flourish and enjoy life because we've somewhat forgotten at times what that looks like. But I still in my head go, can I imagine a world where leaders, where like the president of the United States, for example, is going to be a robot? I can't imagine that. And so I kind of go, it just feels so foreign and so far away to me. And so that's why I come
Yeah.
back to this third titan around the people and what role people get to play in this new world order. And I think we're only just starting to look at what could be possible, and then how does it work going forward.
Yeah, well, this is first of all, I would say we don't know. I mean, this is if you ask me, I'd say no, the robots will not rule the world. I
They
don't think
won't.
the robots will work. But a more philosophical. I got two things I wanna talk to you about, which I thought would be very interesting for this podcast. Is so the first one I go from the bottom on is something that we discussed earlier, but I think we have this point is be very interesting, which is the education. Now, You look at the universities, but let's start from the kindergarten
Yeah.
and thinking that this whole system is really not working. And
Disconnected.
the reason it's not, yeah, it's not, we're trying to take, beautiful, future world into something which is, old and I would say, people would learn in 5 years, they'll be, just before college. Like somebody would go to first grade to fifth grade, you know everything. So the reason I'm saying this is that just think of of a kid sitting in front of a big screen and he says, hey, Derek, how you doing this morning? We're gonna talk about the savannah in Africa today. I want to show you a film, from National Geographic around the savannah. We'll talk about the animals there and just have a look. Shh. Get your hot chocolate, and the kid is sitting and drinking and looking at this, and then we say, so what do we see in this film? No, so now it's one on one because he gets to learn the kid. And if the kid is tired and he sees he doesn't, like it's not moving really, he says, I think you should take a break. Why don't you take a break for half an hour, grab a sandwich and get back? So now you got this
The micro
one-on-one
breaks.
robot that knows the kid, can and understands and not forcing him to sit down on the class and look at the teacher where, maybe he had a hard knot, maybe I don't know what. So like this is one thing. So now you look at the universities now. So I've been talking to this guy here. Uh, so I'm giving a lecture on the entrepreneurship, and he's talking to me about this year, come the coming year. And he says, Udi, what's the lecture? What are you going to give us? So I'm saying to this guy, okay, what are you going to give them? I mean, all these programs that people are doing, the MBAs, is a waste of time because, and I'm saying, like everything they taught us now, I'm saying, you get it's a waste of time. We get all of this without doing anything. So I'm not saying you don't need to learn. Of course you need to learn, but but what are we teaching? What are we teaching there? So from my perspective, I'm saying to people, I'm talking about how to think entrepreneurship, how this thing works, how do you get an idea? What do you do with it? So yeah, so this is more something that stays, but all the other stuff, that we have there, okay, the accountancy things, the things are so, evolved into some things are so great now that it's ridiculous to teach people something that they're never going to use. They're just not going to use
Yeah,
because
I
they
agree.
they have the AI, yeah, and you have the AI, and you get all this, you do it, and you can program yourself, but without being a programmer, you can be, you can write any program, almost any program that you want if you have the sense and you know what you
I did
want,
it
you
the
have the
other
right
day.
prompt.
I did my own API
No,
integration the other day with AI and a co-pilot, and I was like, go me. Like this is like just teaching myself like 2 hours in a rabbit hole. But that's the point, right? It's self-learning as well. Like, the textbooks as we know
absolutely.
them, they don't exist in this new world. It's like they haven't been written yet. They're being written as we speak, is pretty much what you're talking about here. you know,
Absolutely.
Education is
Absolutely.
happening as we speak. The new form of
Mhm.
education. It's so
Yeah, there's no,
so fascinating.
no, not going to be any lawyers. There's not going to be any accountants. What do you need a lawyer for? I mean, I sent a lawyer the other day something, it's a contract that I was such a the AI drove, drafted the contract and I sent him the contract. He was looking at, and he said, "A beautiful contract. What do you want me to do with it?" I said, put it into a format. He said, it's already in the format. Why do you think you need to check? So this is a lawyer. This is one of the biggest law firms here in Israel, doing all the high tech. He didn't have anything to do because the Jiminy, drafted the whole, the whole agreement for him. So but the second point I wanted to talk to you about is something more broadly about leadership and all this. It's
Yeah,
something just, to pick, I want to pick your brain on this. So,
go for
like they
it.
say, at
I'm
the
up
end
for
of
it.
the day, they
I'm on my
say,
second coffee. I'm good. We've got a few more
yeah,
minutes.
great. Yeah, Seinfeld said, I saw this in the other day, that he said that the most important thing in life is coffee.
It's true.
This is like, so when you get to, before you go, you get to heaven or, to hell, you're standing, in like the lobby there, and they tell you where you want to go. You want to go to this place or that place. He said, how's the coffee there? In
So
hell, like with the
I'm
coffee
all about the
in
coffee.
heaven.
My favorite thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, what I want to say is that yeah, we don't know what we're doing here on this planet and everywhere. We don't know what's the thing. We don't know. We can't grasp something from nothing. Okay, the creation. We can understand this. The human cannot understand this. So no matter what they do, at the end of the day, they'll never understand what they're doing here. And if they don't understand what they're doing, what's the purpose? What's our purpose on this planet? They don't know what's right and what's wrong. So when you're saying whether these robots are gonna rule, we're robots. The way I see it, if you ask me and nobody would hear, just me and you here now, I'd say we're robots. We're just very sophisticated robots. Somebody put us here. Okay. He built the arms and, got all this stuff. He said, I want to see how they're working, these people. So these robots, and you put me, they change this kind of robot and the other kind of robot, put them all over, get them to see how they interact with one another. Let's see this. They don't understand what they're there for. So, they just let them walk around the planet, see how they what they do, and let this thing evolve and see, what we're doing with them. So we're here, and we don't know what we're here for. So right and wrong, and or whatever. So we're now building our own robots. Like we're saying, they're going to be their robots. We're saying, these robots will build new robots. So they're building themselves. Yeah, we're building them too. So just thinking of that, we're robots. We're building robots. They're going to build robots, and eventually, because we don't know, and yeah, maybe this what needs to happen.
So what's your
That's how
question
we.
around leadership then? What were you going to ask me about leadership or get my thought on?
So I'm just thinking about this as I told you about the um, how responsible people are going to be, leaders. Having all this, whether this is going to be used against us or for us. So just thinking around the world, I'm thinking about people like Elon Musk and some is getting $1 billion. He's making 250 million a day.
Trillion. Yeah.
Like you're thinking about this. This is the world. And he said very smart thing. He said this money has lost its meaning. So with the next person you interview, and you talk to him about what's going to happen. You talk to him about what's going to happen with the money because, as I said, if nobody's going to make money because nobody's working, so actually, what we're talking about is a way to distribute, back the wealth into the people.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't care. You need I need a couple of $1,000 a year, a month to yeah, I'm fine. Maybe get you 10,000 or 12,000 or 6,000, whatever they got. And you're saying then the apartments will be given by the government. Okay,
Yeah.
because they have enough money. So they said so people would be so the money. Just think of it that the money would lose. You're not getting any money from working. So how you run yourself with it. So I'm saying all these leaders like Elon Musk, these people, are really amazing, so smart that you wake up in the morning and you say, "Wow." I'm listening all these people talking about the AI every day, and I'm saying, "Wow, wow, where's this thing going?" And I'm sure they don't know as well. Everybody, it doesn't matter how smart you are. They're predicting that things will happen, but they're the leaders. They're the leaders. These people would lead the world. These people would this. I think that the corporate it will govern the continents. It will companies like Google, Nvidia, Face, all these people in different aspects would hold the fortune of the world and will be all around. They would make all they would and they would provide at the end. Nobody could buy from them the services if they don't get money from the
Yeah,
government.
it's
So
interesting.
they this is so it's a circle. They would pay 80% tax to the
Mm.
government. The government would pour it back into the people in some sort of a way, and you can buy their services.
I wish we had a crystal ball right now, Udi, to kind of look in and go, all the conversation we've been having today, what it looks like, because it's such a fascinating conversation. But I can't get past, from a leadership perspective, no matter what happens, what I do know is in interviewing now over 220 plus, amazing founders, CEOs, leaders from around the world, including yourself, is there are some commonalities coming through, whether, you think that the robots are going to take over or not. But at the end of the day, leadership requires soul. It requires, somebody who has that empathy, that intuition, the ability to be present, the ability to lead for their people. From a performance perspective, not a hustle, hustle, push, 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 but a way that is sustainable in terms of getting the best results so that the collective can shine their brightest by feeling and performing at their best and being conscious, having a sense of purpose about what's in front of them right now, like what's happening right now, because nothing we can't predict 100% accurate what the next a year is going to look like, let alone 5 or 10 years. And so for me, that is what's coming up in terms of whether it's humans or robots leading the world. We need that. We need that in leadership because everything you're talking about, in terms of even what does the value of money look like and value exchange into the future, it can't come from the baddies, the bad robots or the bad humans. It's got to come from the good. It's got to come from a force for good, not a force for bad. And so we've got to eradicate that. Would be my kind of final thought on that. In terms of one last question for you, what would be, it's not even a question. I guess we've had such a profound conversation. My brain is going to continue to think about this all night. Like I'm going to be contacting you going, can we please have another chat in the next few weeks? So I really just want to keep like discussing this because it's fascinating. We're talking about the new world order, the future. What would be one piece of advice or your final words of wisdom when it comes to change?
I'd say to young people, and not just young people, I say this to everyone. This is I think now the biggest opportunity ever in terms of entrepreneurship. Whoever is sitting you know, in his house or there thinking, what can I do now? And he can do everything he wants. He just have to learn the AI, tools, some stuff. He can program, things he wanted to do all his life. You just have to ask, how do I start? And this is the most important question. How do I start? Because people are saying, I don't know. Where do I start from? I say, ask him. Ask him, how do I start this? I want to do this, but I don't know how. And then it will try, walk you through the stages, but you can do anything you want. And I think we're going into a wonderful world. I don't think we have to be worried
No.
because this applies to everyone. So, you would distribute love instead of money. So
Yes,
like, just think of it,
I'm into
we're
that.
not going to call it money and we're going to distribute love. We're going to say, people can achieve things, do the things they always dreamed about because they won't need to go to work. They would achieve these, the ability to do these things without working in the old way we thought
Yeah,
about, working
incredible.
and learning and all this. And that would be wonderful. Just think of it. We're so lucky to be in this, at this, era that we can we would see all that. We would see all this happening, you know.
Yeah,
This is
amazing.
tremendous.
Yeah. Udi, thank you so much. My goodness, what an impressive, fascinating conversation and to talk about yeah, innovative. So excuse me. Excuse me. How do we find out more
Bless you.
about hyper robotics and how do we find out more about you?
So yeah, there's a hyperfood robotics. There's we have an internet site that you can look, and we're LinkedIn, and there's a lot of videos and everything, and yeah, you could you see us definitely because we're gonna be in burgers and we're gonna be in
Yeah,
bowl
look,
food
looking
and we're
out
gonna
for it
be
in
around.
Australia.
So yeah,
I'll say I've
yeah.
interviewed
I hope yeah.
hyperfood robotics. I went out
Thank you
there.
for taking me because it's not being taken for granted, and I really enjoy the conversation with you.
Yeah, me too.
Really.
Me too, Woody. It's been a great one. Thank you so much. Be Formless, we're all about reshaping life, leadership, and business. So, look out. We are in this new world order. And like you say, the possibilities are endless. And I 100% agree on just start. It is all just about starting. So thank you, Udi. I'm going to let you get back to your day and maybe you'll go and get a coffee now if you haven't had one already. So
Yeah.
if you have that coffee, enjoy it. Enjoy it for me. And thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.